Hey everyone, welcome back. And today we are just going to take some general topic and then we are going to discuss on that. Okay, so we got, apart from those interview questions, we got other requests. Okay, like, discuss on those companies. Okay, some companies interview questions and then what's the salary thing. Okay, so what the salary they offer, like how 3 plus years like prepare for the interview. Okay, so those topics and then, what are the geographical regions. Okay, so where Abinitio people, professionals they work in. Okay, so you have there are like lot of topics okay in and around okay ab initio. So and then some people like they're worried about the future scope. Okay, so there are like more topics around here okay in this general area. So just take one thing. Okay, so I'll just come up with the one topic. Okay, so which I already have. Okay, so we'll just discuss on this and then later I'll just show you the plans again. Okay, so what are the plans, what are the plans and then what can we do to improve our career, okay, our professional career, and then to benefit everyone. Okay, so that's the goal of this channel. Okay, so we'll just start with today's session. So today I just covered around this topic. Okay, because like I feel there are like lot of mistakes being done by Abolish developers. Okay, professional, maybe see you can take support people, admin or whatever, whoever. Okay, so just Abolish professional. Okay, so for 5 plus years in the same company, that worries. Okay, so that that's a worrying part. Okay, because if you appear for interview. Okay, so if you are a 6 plus years in a same company and if you're applying for interview, then that time you'll face the real heat. Okay, so no one would be there to help you around. What's the current job market and then market related questions. Okay, so we'll cover everything in this in this video. So I hope you will get any any points out of this and then it will improve your career. Okay, so let's start with the first one. The first one would be, the lack of interview readiness. Okay, so normally what happens, if you compare yourself with a 3 plus years who is like able to switch. Okay, so if a 3 plus year, year professional, if he's switching the company and then, if he has come to your company. Okay, for example, you are a 5 plus 5.5 or 6 years. Okay, and then if you meet a person, who has just joined your team. Okay, who is having 4 years, he has got the knowledge of already he has cleared the interview. Okay, so that means he is like out of the competition. Okay, so out of competition he has already survived the competition and then he has got selected and then he has seen all those type of questions and then he has prepared for that. Okay, so additionally he has that experience from the previous company and now he'll be joining your company and then he will get another experience. Okay, but you on the other hand you haven't prepared, you haven't touched any questions. Okay, any concepts or any scenario related questions. Okay, so but you are you just stuck in handling the Jira page, completing the story and then complete the task and then report it to your leader. So those things. Okay, so those things normally make you weak. Okay, normally, so it even if it keeps you comfortable, but it will it will be trouble. Okay, so it will put you in a trouble position when you are crossing 5 years. See, normally nowadays, okay, nowadays if you are crossing 5 and 6 and if you are earning more than 10 lakh per package or then per year, then then like you are in a tough situation. Okay, so in this market, okay, market scenario. Okay, so maybe the economy can revive. Okay, so and then things can turn back, but there are like some painful points. Okay, of of being in a same company and not preparing for the current job related more job markets. Okay, so that's one of the one of the mistake. Okay, so if you correct that, you can stay competitive. Okay, so you can just apply to the interview. Okay, so you can be competitive, you can know, you just be aware of those interview questions. They can search it in LinkedIn or wherever you have Abinitio community, you can go there and search. Okay, so just be be competitive and then understand the job market, current job market related questions. Okay, so what do they expect, and then so for example I'll just tell you one thing. Okay, back in 2000 10, 20, 10 15 back in those days, the interview questions were like more like like more a concept, use case scenario, more developer oriented. Okay, so header trailer record and then SC types and then more towards development. But now like in last 5 years, okay, 5 to 10 years, if you see, there are like more projects into enhancement and support and maintenance migration. Okay, in those areas, so interview, even the recruiter won't expect much. Okay, So some banking clients, they stay relevant, okay, to the developing, but some, some clients, they expect only few things, okay. But even for that, if you're unable to crack, okay, if you want to go to this like well, nice, nice banking client, okay, nice, nice company which offers you a developer role, then you should be competent with the current entry questions, okay. So for that, you should be aware of your surroundings and then environment, okay. So don't be stuck, even if you're stuck in one company, you should take immediate action to, to prevent this, okay. So that's the first point, okay. Now we'll go to second point. In addition, if you get too comfortable with your work, okay, day-to-day tasks or reporting or whatever, okay, so what you'll really miss out, okay, you'll miss out the exploration part, okay, because every team will have, different concepts, okay, different complexities, okay. In your same account, some other sandbox would be available, okay, so you can explore that, you can view how they structure, okay. So you'll learn about the Excel sheet and then send mail component, and then regarding plans and continuous flows and everything, okay. So the remedy would be for this mistake, okay. So that's a mistake, okay, because if you are, focusing on your day-to-day work, daily day-to-day work, okay, you will really miss out these benefit, okay, because like that's available in your tool and in your account, okay. So you can directly go and view the other sandbox, okay. So that's, that's one of the remedy for that, like you can explore that and then try to know how the plans work, okay. So just run and check, okay, if you have the access, that's run and check, and then just in the background just view the data, okay. So you do these activities, and then you can, you can confidently appear in interview. If some recruiter ask you how the plan works, and then what are the methods in plans, okay, so for those questions you can able to answer, okay. So that's the second point. So we'll just move to the third point, okay. So in third point, this is a, really concerning one, okay, because it's a missing market trends, okay. The reason here is the what we find, people are doing it wrong, okay. Because if you are, if you're talking to a recruiter, okay, ask them, the final, see, after all those questions, okay, being asked, okay, if you are performing well or, average or bad or whatever, ask the recruiter, what are the technologies they use, okay. So for example, if I am if you see, if I have a, you see, if you are, if you're going for interview, okay, so after the questions, okay, after the questions time, okay, so after that, no, recruiter will surely ask about, okay, if you have any questions, like you can throw, okay, like that, okay. So in that time, okay, you take your chance, and then you directly ask them what are the Abinitio products that they use, okay. Because because like some banks they use plans, some banks they use continuous flows, okay. Some clients they go, they just use Excel sheet, okay. So you can try to see, even if your interview doesn't perform very well, okay, does or does not, okay, doesn't matter. So you can learn something out of the interview, okay. So that's one of the, one of the best thing that you can do, okay. Because if you never do that, if you don't talk to the recruiter properly, okay, if you just focus on, on your own preparation, and then your you were just, if you're thinking, if you're thinking all about, getting a job and then place, okay, so that doesn't work, okay. So you have to, communicate, and then you have to get the current market trends, okay. Because if you talk to a recruiter, he will tell you, okay, he or she will tell you whether they are okay, migrating to cloud, or just they are handling some support work, or just they are, they have some enhancement, so there's some, so they'll be needing some development activity, okay. So you'd be, you just learn that, and then you can watch that, okay. So you can watch that now and often, okay. Like you see, in this current scenario, people are, some clients are already migrated to cloud, okay. Some they are, migrating to cloud. So in that scenario, they will tell you, okay, so they will tell you what type of work they got. So you can plan that accordingly. You can plan whether you have to appear for the admission interview, or you have to upskill yourself, and then it's okay to take a support job or like that, okay. So you can plan that accordingly before, after in your, like in your interview, okay, in your interview attempts, okay. So don't waste your interview, okay, that's it, okay. So if you are, if you are appearing for an interview, make use of, like make use of the full, okay, half an hour, okay. If you have got half an hour, 1 hour, make use of the time, okay. So that's a, no, that's one point, okay. So I think hope we are clear with this one. So let's go for this other, okay, other points, okay. So here another point, I think this one is in a common scenario, okay. So for this, I have an example, okay. So after, after spending 3 to 4 years or 5 years in the same company, just look back, okay. just look back. If you started with 3.5 or 4 or whatever, okay, if you start with some lakh, okay, some lakh, x lakh, okay, okay, just look back and then find out how much, okay, how much your annual growth, okay. So for the last 3 years, if for the last 3 to 4 years, if your average, if your salary doesn't doesn't even okay jump like like see doesn't even turn, okay, it didn't even turn to 2x, then it's kind of worrying part, okay, because if you, so normally we will get around 5 to 10% or 5 to 12% maximum, okay. If you're a top performer, you'll get more hikes, okay. So staying in one company and you are getting a normal, okay, normal 3 star or normal average rating, then it doesn't work out, okay. So focus on your annual hikes, and then if you don't get the hikes properly, just think of think of a switches, okay, like you can switch at least one time before you get get into a senior position, okay. One, see, at least, see, must one, okay, at least two or three, okay. So you just plan that accordingly for your salary growth. Okay, so if you sit, if you sit in the same project and if you're getting a 7 to 8%, which is below inflation, then no one can help you. Okay, so you have to plan accordingly, and then you can't blame anyone for this. So we'll go for the next point. Okay, so here I just took a difference, okay. So difference between a 5 years staying in the same company, okay, whatever role, okay, dev or support or admin, whatever role, okay, so doesn't matter, okay. Here switch at 3 or 5 years, okay. So you can, that person can switch after 3.54, or he can switch second more time, okay, after that, okay, one more time. So in that scenario, definitely salary growth will be there, okay. So that that everyone agrees, okay. So because if you're staying in the same company and then putting same manager and then handling same work, they will just give you a, like, average rating, and then your salary is not in your control, okay, your salary growth. So maybe it will it will put you in a comfortable position, but yours, it's not for your finance, okay. It can be for your career, but career and your comfortable thing, okay, but not for your salary growth finance thing. Second point, think interest skills, okay. This is definitely a concern point, okay, because for a 5 plus 6 plus now, initial, okay, now taking up entry for the first time, okay, that's a concerning one, okay, because you will get more, okay, the entry get more, you will have a more rough experience, okay. So but on the other hand, for the three, and okay, for a person who has jumped already 2 times, okay, so he knows how to deal the recruiter, how to know how to answer properly, how to, like, mainly how to handle the recruiters, okay. See, some recruiters are rude, some they expect short crisp answers, some they ask some scenario based, or some some high complex level, okay. So he can handle all the complexity, okay, at least to 80 to 85%. But on the other hand, you don't, since you don't have any other any interview experience, that interview experience is going to be a rough one, okay. So you should be able to handle that, and then it will cost you some 2 or 3 or 4 interviews, okay. But that that doesn't, see that is a complete waste, okay, because you already have limited portion in Abinitio. So if you waste your interview, then you'll be just you have to wait for the okay, that upturn, okay, economic upturn, okay, because that time you'll have mass hiring, and then you'll have more portions to be filled, okay. So after that, okay, you have exposure, okay. The one who is staying in the same company, handling a same basic component, then that's the worst part, okay. Handling a basic component models, and then Abinitio, without getting exposed to the plans and flows, the country's flows and everything, that's a base worst thing, okay. Because if you don't focus on complex area complexities, then you'll get washed out in when you get seniors, okay, when you get a senior experience. On the other hand, the person who has jumped to another company, he might get some good roles or bad roles, that depends, okay. But if you get a good role, in that case he can explore some other Abinitio product, okay. So he can explore quantitative, or meta hub or whatever, okay. In bad scenario, he can switch, because he already switched here, right. So he can, if he got some support work, or some other some other where work he doesn't like, he can switch back again, okay. That's one story, okay. One guy jumped from Cap Gemini to to Wipro and stayed here, stayed at Wipro for at least like 3 to 6 months, and then later he jumped to another company. Okay, so there are like okay, this is just just a story. Okay, because like see you can jump even after join to one company after 6 months after your probation time. So if you don't get the proper work, okay, so I'm just telling it for example. Okay, so people do that actually. If you if you go into LinkedIn and then if you look for publisher profiles, you will just see the you can just track down the switches. Okay, how people switch and then how they stay relevant. And then confidence, definitely staying in 5 years, you will get confidence in the project, okay, handling the clients and handling your team. But across the domains, okay, so people who have switched more and often, like they they have exposed to multiple to technology. Okay, so they have exposed to clouds and then they have met other teams. Okay, so it's like they have some broad experience, experience and the exposure. Okay, so that's kind of like a value add, okay, to your career and then to your profile. So the last one is like career mobility. Okay, so slow progression, that everyone agrees. And then we'll get into see, definitely some people are staying in one company for some people, okay, like 8 plus or 10, 9 plus 10 plus, we are seeing that. Okay, they're getting successfully into senior roles, and then they're staying relevant. They can also stay relevant and then they can survey also. Okay, but on the other hand, people who switch and then get more roles, they are showing the faster growth. Okay, if you okay, like no, someone like is getting 7 lakh for their 5 years experience. On the other hand, people who switch, okay, they're getting 13 lakhs for their 4 plus or 5 years. Okay, which is like 4 to 5 lakhs. Okay, it's like 6 lakh difference. Okay, so if you focus on not only the finance part, okay, not only in the salary, but to meet more people and then to get more roles and then to get into more. If you get into another company, you will get their culture. Okay, how they operate. Okay, so you will get more adaptable. You will improve that your adaptability. Okay, so so these are the points that I wanted to cover. So I'll just in the weekends I'll just come up with this similar topics, okay, general topics which you have planned. Okay, so we have planned for some topics. Okay, so especially for our data engineers community. So we will just improve that community and then we will just help them. Okay, so starting, so we just had a one idea. Okay, to to help the candidates, okay, who are struggling for the who are struggling for clearing that Abinitio interview. Okay, so we just started this. But when we get a broader community, okay, we have to focus on in career as well. Okay, so what is your, if you, for example, in future, if there's there's no scope for Abinitio, what happens? Okay, that, say, I'm not saying that, but if you have limited scope, then what happens? Then you should be expertise in Abinitio. Okay, so you have to be get able to get expertise, and then you have to have some other skills as well. You should have PySpark. Okay, and then put that into database, and then you learn the database tool. Okay, so PySpark, and then some other tool. Okay, so you can you can just compare the clouds. Okay, so which performs nice. Okay, so in AWS, if the clients are reporting more latency issue or some other issues, like you can go to the Azure. Okay, so you have to learn, you have to adapt to other technologies, provided, okay, so provided if your current skill doesn't match with the job market. Okay, so we'll just plan those topics in the coming days. Okay, in the weekends especially. Okay, so we'll just cover that in weekends. Okay, because like we have to continue our interview questions and then solutions in the weekdays, but in the weekends at least we can cover the the plans again. Okay, so what are the topics? Okay, so because people has requested many topics here. Okay, so some would be like some stories. Okay, so how people survive from support to dev. Okay, so how they jump from support to dev, like there are like lot of topics. Okay, so which I will just put up. Okay, put up on weekends. So I'll just come up with other topics. Okay, so I hope you like this video. So I'll just we'll just continue the questions in weekdays, and then in weekends we'll just focus here. Okay, so that it will be a balance for it will be a nicer things. Okay, to understand the the general topics. Okay, to understand what is going on the market, and then how to focus. Okay, how to like your how to mitigate your risk. Okay, career risk. Okay, so thanks everyone, and then I'll just come up with another video. Okay.